actually known as SQL injection. So so basically it allows the user to view the data which he or she is not supposed to see, but but by mistake it is being presented the to the attacker. So this is a basic flowchart for a SQL injection. As you can see here that this is the view for the attacker point of view. He writes something malicious like union select username password from users, and that form is actually submitted, and this query gets actually concatenated with the original query. Wait a minute. Get concatenated with the original query, and all the username password data is being accessed from the database from the backend and is available to the user, and he is accessing that. So my point of view is that actually when I am developing a so much large system in SQL, so why not to implement a feature which prevents this kind of injections, or actually detect it, like when someone is trying to attack your system. So I basically created an injection table. Whenever something suspicious data is entered, obviously that query is invalid, but instead of telling the user that invalid attempt or something, I am actually recording that parameter. Like when someone enters 1 equal to 1 double equal or 1 single equal to 1 in something like search for a product, which is actually useless, but I am actually storing that and reporting it as malicious. And on a certain day, if it exceeds a certain limit, I am classifying it as a potential threat and notifying the admin. And I am also plotting that graph, actually number of cyber attacks on a particular day. So basically a trigger is implemented which monitors the threshold and gives the user an alert accordingly. Moreover, a simple dynamic plot is also generated, which you can see actually on the here actually. And I created a trigger log type of table. Trigger log is basically a table where the data is entered. If the sum of IDs, like I chose the value to be 2 for the demo purposes. Actually it is supposed to be very large, because 2 attempts in a day is not a threat actually. And this is a trigger. This is a very basic trigger. It actually enters a message in the trigger log that someone is trying to that the daily limit is basically exceeded. And on graph, this is the threshold line actually. So the basic algorithm is like if the threshold is reached, a trigger is generated and admin is notified. Else, just increase the attack count. And this is how SQL injection detected message looks like, and this is how the SQL injection alert look like from the trigger log. So coming over to some other features of my admin panel, like the admin actually wants to visualize the data. It is okay that he visualizes the data which I am presenting to him. But what if suppose he likes to see the sales within a certain range? He wants to see something else from the backend. He wants to actually create something, or suppose the admin likes to query over the database, but he or she doesn't know the SQL language and doesn't know how to implement it in the backend. So I am giving him an option to actually write a query in a human language. And this is actually an API call to Google Gemini Pro model, which actually parses which basically I am providing the prompt. The prompt is actually, I can show from the code. Which is in the admin logged. Yes, I am importing the Google Generative AI here, and I am writing a prompt. you have to deduce SQL statements from the human-like query, and I am providing the schema of my table so that the model gets the context that what is actually my backend. Then only he can actually, the model can actually generate a response. So this is the basic query which actually runs here. So whenever like in the slide, the user is trying to show all the purchased product wise between, basically it is a twisted English language, between 1st and 15th of April. And now as per my prompt, the model generates the answer in SQL that select PPID some number of items as this and from the purchase table. Now the user can actually simply copy this text and paste it in the GUI interface which I am providing, which is basically for the SQL query only. Here you can actually write the SQL command. If you know the command, directly write it here. But if you don't know, try to generate it from the model and get it over here, the generated text, and now paste it here and send it to the database. Now the database will basically fetch the response. Here's the query result from your database. So this is the basic ER diagram which is actually generated from this is basically a live ER diagram actually, which is generated from the PHP MyAdmin backend. So these are some of the design documents, like this is the login, small login part, and this is the logout button, grocery store, and here is the link to the design file. Actually we can try to open this link. Wait a minute, I will be providing this link. See, this is the design file, you can navigate it to it, like the small icons which are being used in the program, and this is the main front view. You can customize the design which I used to customize, and basically it helps in the CSS property. So it is a Figma file actually. So these are the design presentables. Now coming over to the live demo. So it is very simple to set up actually. At backend, PHP MyAdmin provides an interface which is the backend table, and as I told that the live schema we can see here, it is the live schema of the backend. And so we are starting. So this is the login page. Suppose I am an employee. So this is how the login for the employee will look like. You can actually update the product, see the transaction log, and visualize this graph. These graphs are actually interactive. You can actually hover over these graph points and you can actually see the value of the transaction details, like cost in this case 6,595 transacted in April, like number of items 67 transacted in Feb, and as I was telling before, the sugar is the most trending product. 71 packets of sugar are actually being sold. So the employee can actually update the table, like cost of each item he can modify, suppose 78, and I'm trying to update the table like with the 250. So it gets updated here, as you can see. So the employee has actually the least feature, and it is a very user friendly. And now here you can actually sign up for a new user, and user is actually customer only, cause employees are actually being added by the admin, and admin is like the user, like single user of the software. So basically registration is for customers only. Now from customer point of view, I am opening. Oh, sorry. So yeah, I'm into the screen, into the dashboard actually. So this is how the customer will see the software. Now we can see the product, and actually Yossi can actually add it in the cart. Like the amount gets decreased when he is adding it in the cart. Now see the cart. You can actually decrease the item or increase the item and transact. And on transaction actually that will get logged into your account. So this is the basic transaction. It is 10:15, 10:16, and see, as you can see the timestamp for these two transactions now made by the customer. And the customer gets the monthly expense type of visualization, which I have covered earlier. And this is the visualization plot. Also the customer can actually filter the product with a price range. Suppose I am filtering the product 1 to 50. See, 4 items out of my 5 items are getting filtered. 4 items out of 5 are getting displayed, and 1 is being filtered out. Let me increase the range. Now all 5 will come into the picture. Sort the products on the basis of price in the ascending order. Now search the product according to the name. It is a very simple feature actually. By name, suppose I am trying to find garam masala. See, 200 items are left in the inventory and cost is 35 per packet. So okay, this was all from the customer point of view. Now quickly navigating to the admin